Starting coming at you with another game of Geometry Dash. We're playing Clubstep again. 13,482 attempts later. You know, we're not very good at this game, so what are you gonna do? But good afternoon, everyone, and happy Sundash to those who celebrate. But hello, Crazy Bossy and you. Hello, Kiara. Welcome to another day of failure. Nah, that's unfair. I had a really successful day, not jumping into walls. I took a nap. I watched a video essay about a film I didn't care about at all on the strength of the presenter, and afterward I thought that it was a good way to spend an hour and a half. Will I ever watch the movie? Probably shorter than the video essay. No, I will not. Terrible. So you're home from work finally? Yes, I got home from work this afternoon, and I thought about streaming, and then I thought about watching YouTube and taking a nap. And let me tell you, that was a better choice. As a very old person, I now regret all the naps I never took. Okay, well, you know, we're never gonna beat this. But you know, that's the thing, you get like 14,000 attempts, 13.5. But so many of them are just dying to something stupid that can't even, like, really be counted as an attempt, except that they all count, obviously. One counts for one, you know. I'm not Terrence Howard. I know how to count. Wow. Terrible. Okay. Inventing new orbs to miss. Nice. Nope. I am so bad. I mean, really, we should go to practice again. I mean, not because I can't do this part. I can theoretically do this part. But it's because I'm so bad that, like, even if we push through this, you know, what's the point? Is the point that it's fun to play with the song and practice mode doesn't let you do that? Or that it feels better while you're alive here than on practice mode where you die 10 times as quickly? Maybe. Nice. Okay. If I have 1,000 diamonds? Yeah, you know, I only learned what a diamond was very late in Geometry Dash playing time, right? I think I played 150 hours of the game before I did a quest and got a diamond type of thing. And the fact that it wanted so many for that item was why I downloaded the Geode thing. And then Geode broke. Maybe it works again. but it broke very badly, like straight give you a black DOS box crash, and so I got rid of it. Game update. Yeah, I mean, I figure when a mod breaks, it's because the game updates. I play, you know, Total War Warhammer, and which is still being actively updated, but not like, if I can slander CA a little bit, not like updated well. But so they'll constantly do like a weird hotfix revision and they'll break mods. I don't play with that many, but a lot of people do, of course. No, I'm sure they're doing their best. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, what you gonna do, right? The 67% one, I died there so much. I think it was like 3 or 4 times we, whoops, went the weird way. Hello, Arcade. How goes it? In keeping with the theme of picking back up games where I haven't conquered them. More Geometry Dash, no. I've been failing at Geometry Dash longer than I've been failing at Darkest Dungeon, which we played last night, and failed at. I crashed again. But at least when you get to like 30%, you get to hear a big chunk of the song. Terrible. But the thing is that I'm still like so bad at so many sections that without getting all White Lady does trigonometry math meme on it, I don't know the probability of stringing together each segment, you know? Like, do I do the 67 to 70% thing 3% of the time? Or is it 10, you know? And then where do you multiply them together? I wasn't paying attention in that class. I figured I would just intuitively understand my chances when the time came. Like, you tell Boole, or whatever he's called, that I don't know what Boolean probability is. I think it's a whole different concept than what we're talking about here, though. Again, I don't know math. I was merely sort of good at arithmetic whenever I was a kid. I'm sort of good at arithmetic now. Not a Geometry Dash, though. Nope. Alright, I guess we just change the title to relate that we're going to practice mode, because obviously we are still so bad at the game that we need more practice. Now and of course, so many of the deaths are just because I can't place a checkpoint very well. So really, I've probably only had like 8,000 attempts, you know? When like 3,000 were complaining and 3,000 were setting checkpoints. And then we just move way too far through there, totally getting rid of the point of practicing at all. Okay. Didn't even know you could die there. Ah, man. Terrible. Just absolutely terrible. I hate everything. And this is why the counter doesn't barely mean anything, right? Because I'll spend like 10 deaths just trying to get a decent spot for the crystal, and in the course of it, learn absolutely nothing. There should be like a take away this attempt button, not for that, but for that, you know? Because all we did was fall. And it makes it look like we were trying to learn something. Afterward, when you count them up with 13,600 other ones. Oh man, I'm so bad at this game. I don't even need to practice this part. I'm good at this part. It's not true, but traditionally I say that I'm good at the UFO. So no matter what, the parts aren't hard, I'm just not executing them. Sure. That's a terrible waypoint. We're gonna have to push it back again, because of course, I'll spend like 100 attempts getting a waypoint into a decent spot. Not there. This is a terrible spot for a waypoint. This is a terrible spot for a waypoint. This is a terrible spot for a waypoint. Man. Man, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I don't know, there's not a point in this, right? It's just a waste of my time, and not everybody else's. They like seeing me suffer, but it is a waste of my time, which is worthless to me, so it doesn't matter. Like, no one respects my time less than I do. Nobody, not even my boss. No, that's unfair. He's very aware of how valuable I am compared to other people. Slightly. And that is, of course, as far as we ever get. Not like on practice mode, but, you know, for the Earth. Because all of this section, from here to the end, is full of so many potential pitfalls that, to go back to the I don't know how to do math thing, I don't think we'll ever overcome them. I think the difficulty inherent in each of the things is such that we will certainly mess up at least one of the spots every time we try. But, again, fortunately my time is worthless to me. But I could spend it doing something else equally worthless, but more fun. Which we'll probably elect to do after just a few hundred more of these pointless failures. Because remember, this is what they're not going to teach you in school. Nothing feels as good as giving up. They're going to say, you know what's great? Climbing a mountain. But you know what's great too? It's not even climbing it. Just give up. Go eat a sandwich. Go eat two. Maybe that's what I'll do. Not really. I don't really buy bread anymore. Bread went up by like 40%, so I just stopped buying it. I only eat rice now. Like, I'm not paying $1.50 for a loaf of bread. Get out. I'd rather die. I'm a very old person. Back in my day, bread was affordable. You know, that kind of thing. Rice is still cheap, though. The song is different because we're on practice mode. We're on practice mode because even though I have 13,600 attempts, I'm really bad at the game, and it's not likely that we're going to beat it. So we swapped to practice some of the segments that I'm bad at, which is basically all of them. Try to be Limbo. If I haven't heard of it, I can't beat it. Terrible. Because I could probably do it like 1,000 times and not even get to 100% here starting at 65. And that's with like a whole lot of the hard parts already done. Because really the only part of this big segment is the start right here. But then there's a bunch of easy parts that I'll do wrong. Like this whole part here is very easy, but I'll still die 50 times before I get through it once. It's all very easy, right? And then you get here where you die again. So there's everyone. I try to tunnel vision my despair. Only fail at one thing at a time. Also, you don't even know how long it took me to get this crystal here to practice. If I left, it would take me another like 10 minutes. I'm really bad at this game. Oh, man. We are never, ever, ever gonna beat this level. Ever. Makes sense. I couldn't even die there on purpose. Not where I did just then, but the time before where we got to like 91. I couldn't even fail that jump on purpose. I don't even understand how to fail it that way. I thought it was automatic, but every now and then we die there, you know. Since I don't know how it happens, we can't prevent it. But even if I did know how it happens, what are the chances I would take precautions to render it impossible? Low. Man. So many fun ways to die there at 81. Smart. Just don't jump at all. Great. Okay. And this is why the attempts don't mean anything. Like, honestly, a couple thousand of them were probably spent there, and then a couple thousand of them were spent further up here. Because it was more than 2,500 before we even got through it on practice mode, right? We got incredibly hard stuck just trying to get through it. Gave it up and played some other demons, and now we're back, and now I'm, you know, we never should have come back. This was a mistake. We never should have come out of the ocean in the first place. Terrible. Hey, what's up? Oh, I've just been talking about, like, how this game's a waste of my life and the futility of it and how I'm never getting any better. But, like, not in a negative way, just like an observational kind of way. But the good news is that I'm internally and externally now thinking about when we're going to stop this stream, get something to eat, and then play something else. The answer is probably soon. Because... honestly, I would like to spend some of my Sunday playing a game that is fun. Because this game is only fun for brief periods of time when you're doing it right. And then as soon as you die, all the fun goes away. It's not like you stop having it. It's like it's all gone. Like a hole being ripped open of an airplane that's in the air. You know, the air just goes away. You used to have it. You had pressurized fun. That's what Geometry Dash offers you. But all the fun goes away every time. And then you have just like the husk. You know, the ripped apart like husk of your human body, which used to be having fun, where now you just have failed 14,000 times at a thing that literal children can do casually. But I'm fine. And again, not that children aren't good at doing things, especially playing games, but it does rankle at an adult whenever you see them quite casually be able to do something that you find impossible. Sometimes people will be in chat, they're like, oh, I just beat the level. I'm like, what? They're like, oh yeah, I just loaded it up and beat it. It'll give you good luck. And you're like, wow, thanks. 14,000. No, that's not true. Right now it's just 13,700 and something, but who's counting? Yeah, you know, I've quit a couple of times, and I should quit again. Because just in this little session, right, 240 practice attempts, and we haven't even gotten through to the end once. And that's when we can start in the middle. I'm so bad. I don't know, maybe if my hands worked, then I could do it. I bet I would be at least twice as good if I could use the mouse. So total words of ruin. Yeah, well, you know, it can be, but there, you can structure your army so even when you forget about it, it's fine. Here, you just die. And the terrible thing is that I'm so much better at this level than I was before I failed at it 13,000 times, and I'm still trash. And again, this is not a hard level. It's not an easy one. It's one of the harder ones that's in the base game, but it's not hard, like, not like for the Earth. Like, everybody out there that plays this game can beat this. You're not like a real player of Geometry Dash if you can't beat this, right? It's in the base game. It's not even hard. But I'm very bad. And we somehow fail that too. You know, Neo, I have been thinking that Warriors of Chaos would sound like an amazing time because they're a nice, like, calm campaign where nothing can ever go wrong. Which guy at the top are you thinking? Because I love Archie, but I haven't played Sigvald in forever. He's slow, but there's still something to be said for him. And then, I mean, like, Village would be, like, so much fun. Valky would be fine, but, you know, Corrin's a little samey, but... Festus, we could fight the Empire. His starting position is miserable. Oh yeah, Kolek. Why do I forget Kolek? And we can fight, you know, Tamrican and Grimgor at the beginning. Monstrous Infantry is great. I like, you know, there's something to be said for basically all the Warriors of Chaos guys at the top. Well, Kolek gets, what, like, mass per vassal, which is crazy. You know, like, eventually you just, like, can legit, like, run through a chariot. Hello, Mr. Euphoric, how are you? And then we could get, you know, some Chaos Dwarf vassals somewhere. Certainly we could, you know, yeah, take care of Tammy and then either beat up on Archie or, you know, be pals with them, rotate over, and get Jatan the Black as a vassal or ally. Probably vassal though. And then we could eventually have Chaos Dwarf Artillery with a Chaos Army, which is, of course, the actual dream. Chaos Dwarves are awesome. We did one not too long ago. I guess maybe it's been like 6 months now, but we did a Dress Up the Ashen, and it was wonderful. How many demons do I have? Oh, 7 maybe? And then like some platforming ones. I don't know how many. You know, Lightning Road, Platinum Adventure, Nightmare, Shiver, Death Moon. It's just 5? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. And then, yeah, no, there's probably like 4 platformer ones, but they don't count. You know, nobody counts those. Maybe it's just 3. Sword of Cain is Archeon. Yeah, talk about overkill, right? Slayer of Kings is already good enough. Do I play Gorilla Tag? No, I do not. Never heard of it. If I died there for real, I would just hopefully take it super calmly. VR, yeah, I don't have a VR setup. I could get one, but I have not yet adopted the technology. I just want to wait for it to be better. I don't want to spring for it right now. Starting ASMR soon. So we were talking about the Adepticon thing. You talked about that awesome walking castle. Have you seen the meme of it? The memes of it in the Warhammer subreddits or anything, where they've like stacked everything on top of it. You know, they've got like a giant on top of it, and then like on top of the giant, you know, another thing. It's just like 4 or 8 castles high. How long have I been a YouTuber? Am I a YouTuber? My channel would have started, I don't know, almost 12 years ago. But I've taken a couple pretty big breaks in there. Back when I just started in 2014, I exclusively played this game called Mountain Blade Warband, and specifically a mod for it called A Clash of Kings that set it in like the Game of Thrones universe. So like probably like my first 800 videos or whatever on the channel, this before I streamed, were of it. But then, you know, and I came back a couple of times for a brief time, and now I've been back this time for, nearly 2 years now, I guess. Well, a year and 9 months or so. But, you know, playing various things, all sorts of stuff. You know, Minecraft, Total War. Right now I'm playing Cuphead. I played Hollow Knight and Silksong. I played Red Dead and Fallout New Vegas. I try to play a variety of games. Right now I'm also playing Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, which is just a wonderful time. And I started playing Cuphead for the first time this last week. And that's been a fulfilling and frustrating time as well. But, you know, I play a lot of different stuff. But I wouldn't call myself a YouTuber. You know, I have a job. No, that's a job too, but that's not my job. I'm a cook. I cook in a restaurant. I just do this for fun. Yeah, and, you know, attention. Getting attention is fun, too. Plenty of people aren't willing to be honest about it. But since you're already here paying attention to me, I've got everything I need. Mwahaha. It's too late for you to retract it now. I won't even notice you're not paying attention. You're already doing it in my head. I'm kidding. For the longest time, you know, like I said, I didn't start streaming until this segment of YouTube time, but, you know, like I had made dozens, if not 100, Minecraft videos before I started streaming. So, you know, you're just doing it for the love of the game and hoping somebody pays attention to you in the future. Oh, how I would wait to see if somebody ever left me a comment. Very gratifying, you know. But you don't want to beg, you don't want to be like those people that are out there being like, pay a more precise amount of attention to me, like my dog does whenever he yells at me. Not charming, you know. Not charming at all. Bad. Oh yeah, and Katamari Damacy. Oh, this morning, Neo, we did my favorite level, Star 9. Oh, it's the best one. It's the one with Que Sera Sera, the Sinatra-esque song on it. And, oh, it's so good. You know, you start at 50 centimeters, you need to get to 30. I think we hit 54. You know, you start low, and then you're picking up, like, the skyscrapers and the petroleum, you know, storage buildings at the end. Love it. We've got, like, one more mainline level left. You know, we can still play it, but, you know, for the story mode, you'll never guess what happens at the end. Is the King of Cosmos proud, or no, 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 no. Ah, okay, yes, indeed, yeah, I might just be 2 in front of you here, because I'm Central Time here in Arkansas, and then it's what, Mountainous, and then the Pacifico. Yeah, on Sundays, I go to work earlier, so if I stream in the morning rather than, you know, being, you know, around what would be 7:30 your time, you know, it's gonna be even earlier than that, but I wish I was a YouTuber. I would just play video games all the time and complain. It'd be great. Instead, I have to go to work, too. And then play video games and complain. It's fine, you know, it's good life. I should say that I am super happy with my channel. It's not like I don't feel like I'm mega successful. This, to me, is so much more attention than I ever thought I was going to get on the internet. Sometimes people are like, do you ever feel like you'll break out? I'm like, I have 1.4 thousand subscribers. That's a way you could talk about thousands. 1.4. So many thousands. It's like the biggest big shot I can dream of being. Crashed again. My hardest demon is Death Moon. You said you returned to Monster Hunter? You know, I never played them. I got a friend who's super into them, and they looked fun. It's, honestly, they never go on a deep enough sale to attract me. Or maybe by the time they do, it's already like a 7-year-old version of it. So I'm like, well, you know, we'll just wait until the 2025 version goes on sale, and then it never goes on enough of one, right? But no, I am interested in it, though, because it's pretty cool, like, conceptually, you know, and you got the boss fight things. I remember sitting around and watching my friend play, I don't know what it was, one of them. There was a sort of jungly thing, and there was an animal, and he cut its tail off. Again, I very vaguely remember some of it. And it looked fun, you know, but I think his house where he started out looked kind of like a beach, you know, like a sandy thing. There were NPCs, might have been a fire. I'm probably describing all of the games, but not on purpose. Same as you. Nice, nice. Lego. Sometimes I think of getting back into it, because, like, I used to have them whenever I was a kid. Not like the cool ones or anything, you know, just a big old bucket, you know, to build stuff out of. But I got a couple dudes I know, a friend at work and stuff, that have like some Lego pieces, and I'm like, that's kind of expensive, but it's also pretty cool. But you know, they did like a one-piece one of the ship there. Speaking of things I should do, I should stop streaming and just read the, you know, 100 chapters of One Piece that are on deck. No, it's probably only like 40. I don't actually know where they're at compared to where I was, but it's been almost like 2 years. He had to have written some in there. Man. Oh, you probably mean the Lego game series. Ah, that makes more sense too. I'm like, you could play that anytime. That's not expensive. But I saw like the Lego prices. I like went to the website. I looked at stuff. I'm like, oh no, this is like real money. No wonder I don't have them. Ever play Harvest Moon? Yes, yes. I played Harvest Moon a lot on you know, the emulator back in the day. Back in the 90s, you know. And yeah, because that was one of those ones where I don't know if I ever saw like a copy of the cartridge. I wanted to own it for a Super Nintendo, but I don't think I ever saw one. But the old emulator website, you know, when you could get all the RPG ROMs, it's like the greatest web page that I've ever seen, right? Is the one where it's like, this is all the RPGs on Super Nintendo that you can't get in America because you're not rich and you're 11, and you know, and I'm like, wow, now I can actually do everything I wanted. Ogre Battle, you know, Lufia 1 and 2. I mean, I didn't dream of playing Lufia, but it was nice to be able to. FF5 with a really sketchy fan translation. I mean, not sketchy, just bad. Switch the new one? No. I only played the very first one. And then, of course, like, I played Stardew on... Yeah, I streamed Stardew. That would have been about a year ago, I guess, whenever I played it. But very Harvest Moon-like, but of course with the other elements that make it a smash success. What a great game that, right? Oh man, terrible. Characters could play games inside the retro system, so I hope so. I remember in I probably bring this up all the time whenever this happens, but in Shenmue on the Dreamcast, you could play Space Harrier in the old arcade, right? They had like the darts game and whatever, and then you could play Space Harrier, and it was awesome, you know. Space Harrier, so cool, such a good soundtrack. And of course, in Stardew, you know, they've got their little arcade video game thing to play as well. But no, I haven't bought a Switch game in absolutely ages. And now, of course, the Switch 2 is out, which I don't have. And I'm relatively unlikely to get. I never played my Switch. Like, if I ever play Breath of the Wild, then maybe I'll get a Switch 2. But, like, I've been not playing Breath of the Wild for years now. But this talk about emulation, now I'm thinking of, like the white whales, you know, the true connoisseurs games that I never even got to play, you know, even because you couldn't get them back in the day, and then I never looked them up later. You know the ones like Panzer Dragoon Saga, you know, like Shining Force 3, you know, like the true gentleman's impossible games to find. And I just think of like what could have been. Like, localized Mother 3, what are we waiting for? We need to, like, solve the iniquities of the gaming past and bring our collective cultural consciousness into the roaring future, you know? Localized Mother 3. That's really what I'm getting at here. I have Breath of the Wild, I played it one time, and I was in a terrible mood already, and I was like, why not play Zelda, the game you've loved since you were a lad? That'll be fine. You'll play the new one, and it'll make you feel better. It didn't. Instead, I just got really frustrated, put it down, and never played it again, because that is my level of emotional maturity. 415 attempts, and we still have not got through to the end once on practice. I am so bad. And if you wondered, how could it have possibly taken you 2,557 attempts and the first time you tried to beat it on practice and not done it? I'm this bad. So bad. Aw, oh, come on. Realms of Never Drive played on real hardware? Oh, that's I think that kind of stuff is the coolest of stuff, right? Where you emulate so hard that you trick the actual machine into believing you. No, I love that stuff. And here's this song that would be cool, except it uses like gun cocking sound effects, which is like so tacky, right? I complain about this song every time in the same ways, and then I'm like, I do like it though. But anyway, if you make a song and you have like a gun sound effect for percussion or a siren or little kids laughing, that sucks. Don't do it. These are all sounds that don't belong in songs. Unless you're intentionally trying to be annoying, like sometimes when Eminem has something in a song and you can tell it's just there to sound bad. If we're making a list of things not to do in songs, though, no, I'm just playing. We're not going to go through everything not to do, but Dr. Dre, you know what you did. Putting skits into Kendrick Lamar songs. Dr. Dre, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Anyway, I'm done. But especially because we didn't have Sega systems, you know, like I got a Dreamcast eventually, but it's when I got the Genesis emulator and was able to play like Shining Force 1 and 2, which to this day I consider like absolute triumphs and brilliant games. And really, you know, Shining Force, in a lot of ways, sort of like paved the way in my head for Fire Emblem's functionality. Only Fire Emblem, you know, made it even more elegant by the addition of permadeath, which Shining Force was not at all bold enough to do. But there wouldn't have been an appetite for that kind of thing back in that day. But oh man, those games so good, so good. Because those, you know, like all the Genesis games, those were the RPGs and the games in general. But RPGs have always been my favorite, you know, specific genre. So I love the storytelling and the grinding and such. Yep. But entertainingly, the game that I ended up playing probably the most on my Genesis emulator, even though I could have used it on Super Nintendo, was Risk, because they had a Risk for the Genesis that was great fun, and you know 2 players, so even on a keyboard, worked totally fine. And I had, you know, Civ on the Super Nintendo emulator. Man, I loved those emulators. Because it was like, you know, you're growing up, you don't have enough money, you know, for just any game you want. And then, even then, you know, that era, you'd see a game in Nintendo Power or something and then look for it in the store and realize you were never going to see it, you know. Like, I got to play Chrono Trigger because of the SNES emulator. I would have bought it if they had it somewhere. Of course they never would. Of course they never did. And then the Phantasy Star games, which were also very wonderful, and just like a really cool take on, you know, that old classic formula. Indeed. That's like, you know, and then, you know, when Steam happened, it's like, now I have this huge library, which sure I pay for in the past. But, you know, I think it's like 1,100 games now, and lots of them are even good. At least some of them, I have a whole Steam category called possibly meh, and that's where I put stuff that fits within the category, right? Worms, yes, dude. You know, I actually was thinking of picking up a Worms game on the sale, and then I was like, will you even play it? It was Worms Armageddon would have been, yeah, that would have been the one that was on PlayStation, and then also, you know, it played better on computer. One of my friends had it on PC, and then the other one had it there. Oh man, Worms. Good stuff. Hello there. Crashed again. General cast? I don't think so. Does not ring a bell. My day so far? Oh, it was alright. You know, I woke up, went to work, came home, took a nap, watched some YouTube video essays, and then failed at Clubstep for a while. Oh yeah, I did take the dog out a couple times. Very successful day. Ay, ay, ay. Finally got one. $480 attempts to get one practice mode victory from 67 up. Pathetic. Not very promising. Not very promising at all. Not. Because again, like, if we die here 50 times to get through once, that's rough. Dying 400 times to get through once is an impossibly bad performance. Like, that's never going to convert into a victory. If it was like 50, then I'd be like, maybe we can just luck into it, but we're never going to do it. It's never going to happen. I'm so bad. You say, well, you know, this is one circumstance where I can confidently say that the format of me playing the game is changing me playing it. Because I would have given up on Geometry Dash just ages ago if people weren't watching me. Like, so long ago. I've played like 180 hours or something of this game now. Not a lot compared to Geometry Dash people, but I would almost certainly have given up at hour like 5 and been like, okay, that was fun, I'm over it. But it was actually very well received among the wider community, you know. Although I do not understand why. But of course I don't, you know, I don't consume content that's like mine at all, right? I watch Total War, but I watch, you know, competitive Total War and commentary for it, you know. Like I don't watch like a dude playing, I don't watch dudes playing anything, you know. Like it's not what I watch. I watch RTS commentary. So, you know, it makes sense that I wouldn't get why people would watch this game, because I don't get why they watch any of the games, you know. I'm glad they do. Not criticizing anybody's tastes, you know. But I wouldn't watch me. No, I mean, I might sometimes. If I got to, like, talking really good, I'd be like, oh, look at that guy. Let's give a little history lesson. That's fun. And then I would click away whenever I started trying to be funny. So I'd be like, look at that guy. Desperate for people to laugh. Pathetic. I would never stoop so low. In my imagination, where I can be outside of myself looking at myself, I'm highly critical. What's the point of being able to look in a mirror if you don't hate what you see? Don't answer, I don't want to know. Slaughterhouse in 4 runs? Really? Did you? Because I've heard of that level. I've even played it. And frankly, I don't want to call anybody a dissembler, but I would be surprised if anybody could do the first jump in 4 tries. You got too far in tactics. Oh no. Well, we should... Like, I don't know what we're gonna play tonight. Maybe Total War. Maybe Tactics. Maybe Cuphead. You know, after this, I mean. Right now we're playing this, but... There's no one there, Beanie. Although it'd be pretty annoying if this happens a lot and then one day my brother does need to contact me by standing behind me and I don't look because you guys have cried wolf. You say, do I want some tips? You're free to offer them. You should be made aware, though, that most people find me deeply frustrating. Things that are very simple to most people are not very simple to me, and I often annoy people by my inability to follow very simple sets of instructions. It's because I'm actually very clever that people think that I'm being, like, willfully obstinate. But I just have, like, a useless human brain. But my whole life, people have suspected me of annoying them on purpose by not understanding what they mean, though. Or by ignoring it because it doesn't click immediately. Like 5-4, got it. At which portal? Like, this Geometry Dash level should best be played in cut time. Join me now to my Geometry Dash level to the music of John Philip Sousa. Is there like lo-fi military marches? There's gotta be. There's lo-fi everything. Back to Diablo. Nice, nice. You know, I thought about doing another hardcore character. I think I was saying this the other day, but then I just... What did I do instead? I don't remember. Oh, you bought the Master System? You ended up getting it? Awesome, dude. That's so awesome. A place of pride in your cabinet. Bonk. Trying to hold the down an old CRT2 runner. How old? I got one. I had one from like, you know, it might have worked. And then like for I don't think it was like a proper CRT. It might have worked for my 64 anyway, you know. But then I bought the 64 from the shop that I always go to, you know, like the owner, friend might be a little strong, you know, but like very friendly acquaintance, you know. I would call him my friend, but I don't know if he thinks of himself that way. Like he's been to my house before, you know. But anyway, not important. But I bought 64 from him, and it didn't work, and I thought it was my TV not working, but it was actually, so the system worked, but he had tested it with the memory expansion card, right? And then he swapped it out for one that he had sitting on his shelf that ended up being defective. So, but I assumed, you know, because I had seen him, you know, because he tests all the used game stuff, you know, in the shop before he packages it up. So I had seen it already work, and plus, you know, I trusted him. So I was like, okay, yeah, but, you know, he had swapped the thing out because I didn't want to buy it that day, was how it happened. And then this other guy up at the shop was like, oh, I got an old CRT sitting in my closet, because I was looking on eBay and stuff, and the shipping was so much, and I was like, man, what if something happens to it? Like, am I really going to get a CRT shipped to me and spend like $120 and like hope that it's all working right, you know, that it doesn't buzz and like have a problem with age? But and then he gave me his stuff, which probably he was just like holding on to it because he got a better one, and it's hard to throw things away. But hey, I'm happy to get it. Yeah, the RAM pack that like came with the original was bad. $81, $85. Yeah, but you see, it's the rest of the level that's bad. Oh yeah, might as well. Anyway, we can try that for a bit, and then whenever we ultimately fail, that'll be a good time to stop. And I'll eat and then come back for a different game. Or we'll beat it, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I have a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling. We're not going to beat this today. We're not going to beat this ever. Be prepared to see me die a lot there. Ah. Right on the garbage switch. Look, anything that requires holding, I'm just probably not gonna do. I don't hold. I don't hold and I don't buffer. I don't know how. Every time I try, I die even worse than I normally do. Good advice, though, I'm sure. But yeah, if I hold down a button, I die because I'm holding down a button. I've never done it right. And I don't think I've buffered a single orb in the history of ever. And if I do, I die right after, because I'm holding the button down still. I hit that last thing at a way different angle than normal, and thus had less time on the horizontal for where I was supposed to jump, leading to not jumping at all. Now that we hopefully figured out why I died in the past, we can continue on to the future. We'll all die in a different way, probably. That was a kind of awkward one, unlikely that we'll duplicate it. The UFO slid at the edge there. I hit where, you know, at the very edge of the block, you can hit like a safe spot, but it slides rather than falling down, and that really messed me up. It's not enough time to react to it for me. Once it's happening, it's already so far off of the expected pathing that I can't recover. Oh, well. 81% X3. No, X2. That's only the second 81%. But hey, you know, another 81, that lets us change the title forever. Now, we've spent 14,000 attempts getting to 81% twice, which is twice as good as getting to 81% once, except it isn't. It's the same. Nope. The music gets so good there at 65% or so, right where I always die. It's so cool. Too bad we'll never hear the whole song. Only 81% of it. I'm just playing. I've listened to the whole thing on YouTube. Nope. Felt it. Felt it before we crashed. That I was like, that input was bad. It was too high. Yeah. Sometimes I'll helpfully say the word no right after doing a thing that I shouldn't do. Thinking, well, me in the past will really adjust what they've done now that me in the future has criticized them. That's how it works. Terrible. Is the full version of the game? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm playing on Steam. Yeah, I know Geode. I used to have it, and then I had to get rid of it because there was a version update for the game that made it crash to desktop. I've been told that it works again. I just, Geometry Dash modding isn't super high on the list of things I think about when it comes to gaming. Oh, I think we're at 14K now. And no closer to beating it than ever before. I think I had just as good a chance of beating it on attempt 2 as I have on attempt 14K. Yeah, we did a 66% to 100 a few times just a bit ago. The beginning of that section of ship right there before you get into the easy little slalom UFO. Crash again. Terrible. The coin path? I only ever take it by accident. I didn't even mean... See, that's what I usually do if I accidentally take it, because it freaks me out. Because I'm not expecting it, and I usually just die after. So I'm like, oh no, we didn't do it. Because there's one more input that you do when you go on the coin path, and it happens dramatically earlier. But if you do 2 inputs because you're freaked out about the earlier input, then the second one kills you. Say, boy, you died at 95. You know, I've died there on practice. I see how you could die there, and it would be very sad. I feel your pain. Before I beat Clubstep, I died 14,000 times. And everything else in the history of the world happened too. Oh, I'm breaking the controller again. That was an A button stick. You know, this controller did live almost a whole year, I guess. Probably, 150,000 A button presses for Geometry Dash alone. That's what ruined my last controller. A year isn't too bad to get out of one. It could have been Diablo 2. No, we don't use A that much in Diablo. Like, that was 2 controllers ago. We broke the shoulder button because I used it to teleport. Broke in the sense that it eventually decayed and became unusable. Not like I didn't, smash it, I use an Xbox controller, yes. But I'm playing on my my PC, but yeah. But when I first played, I had a PlayStation controller that I was using, or a PS3 controller, PS4. I don't know. I haven't owned a system in a long time. My brother had it laying around. What? Nah, not there. Come on now, come on. Man, that's a hard one to take. Just running into the wall on the ball section, the easiest and coolest part of the level, the one that just makes you feel good the whole time. What? 14,100. I double input on the one thing and it screwed up my whole level there pretty bad. Why would I double input there? You don't need to. $14,105. $14,106. On today's episode of Counting with Tarkin. $14,107. $14,108. Jack's dissociated identity. So if I feel down, no. If I feel down and stuck, I'll go plant wheat in Minecraft, like a regular person does whenever they want to feel better. Have you ever planted wheat in Minecraft? I mean, not as much as me, but like some. It's pretty good. If you're not familiar with my wheat field, these statements won't make sense to you, but I assure you, it's impressive. I don't have the most wheat in the world, but one day I will. I hope to one day have the most wheat in the world. I definitely have more wheat than anyone you've ever met, unless you know the guy with the most wheat in the world. I don't know, something about the non-coin path just visually feels less claustrophobic. Like there's less possibilities to die. Because you're not traveling through a place that's, you know, one Sir Green Blockington thick. Terrible. $14,113. 14,114. Or 14141. No. 1414. One. Hold was too long. Normally I do the hold and then you do like a brief tap to level out to get to a better spot, but the hold was just that fraction too long, which I did not identify. 14,124. $14,125. 14,126. How many numbers are there? There's only one way to find out. $14,127. 14,128. That's a number too. 14,129. Wow! Man, I'm discovering so many new numbers. 14,130. Have to practice on the easiest, but at 14,131 attempts, what part that's easy have we not practiced? I'm gonna die at the end if I ever get there, though. We're gonna get like a 98 loss. But I don't think we'll ever get there. I think we'll die at 81 like 10 more times, and then ultimately the universe will have like the heat death. Because I don't think we're gonna get a big crunch, right? Like, I think entropy will ultimately overtake us all, and in a few trillion years we'll be like 81% times 10, and then, you know, due to entropy, won't be able to play anymore, which will be a shame. I'll still be alive and have never beaten Clubstep. %, X3. Well, we gotta change the title again. 14,131. 14,134. I skipped a couple, I was counting bad. There's like a lot of places to die at 81, right? That's why I think we'll never ever beat it and we'll die at 81 forever. That 81% block comprises the up and the down side of that ship section there. We're gonna be there forever. $14,136. I knew I needed to input again for that UFO section. I just tapped it a little bit too late. It's sketchy there. Lots of times you can just do 2 inputs, but if you're on like a weird path, then you'll need a 3rd late one. I'm good at the UFO section, I just can't prove it by doing it right. But every time I do it right, I feel like I'm amazing. Like, whenever I do a section with the ship and I get through, I'm like, oh god, thank goodness I got through that. I didn't know what I was doing, but every time after I get through a UFO part, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm awesome, look at me go. But I think the ship is probably my very worst thing. Which is probably because the ship is the worst thing to control with a controller compared to the mouse. Probably in the whole game. I assume the ship is the thing that is the worst, but wave could be pretty bad too. You know, something like ball or cube, you know, you're not likely to see as big of a difference. But I don't know if I would be good at ship if I had a different input. I doubt it. I would have to get different human hands in order to try, so it's kind of irrelevant. There's a lot of YouTubers that'll get the robot hands before this humble, only technically a YouTuber, gets robot hands. And then I wouldn't use them to play Geometry Dash. I'd play StarCraft. Yeah, you know, I'm on PC, I could play, but I have nerve problems, right? I've had surgery and such, so if a game is as clicky as this is, my hands go numb and I can't do it, so... The thumb, of course, being innervated by a different nerve that doesn't compress, you know, the transverse ligament on your wrist the same way. I can tap away, but if I tried to use, you know, a hand on a mouse for 10,000 inputs in the course of a couple of hours, it would not be good, unfortunately. I'd be a better Geometry Dash player if I could use it, but as I say, this ridiculous human body renders it impossible. I don't mean to complain too much. It's like so much better than anybody else's human body is. For one, my human brain's in it, and it's excellent. I mean, it doesn't work, but it's so much better than other people's ours. I wouldn't trade it for anybody's. What if I get a person who's not crazy, but they don't want to listen to Rachmaninoff Concerto No. 2 as much as I do? No, better to be stuck with this useless body and this wonderful brain that doesn't function very well but has great taste. I died again. And there, we would have made it through the portal, but that extra input that I thought I needed killed us. I had the surgery on my hands. It would have been 2021. Yeah, 2021. I got my carpal tunnel surgery done. And it worked amazingly. It's just, you know, like, my body's still messed up. All they could do is, you know, trim the scar tissue out, but... I mean, before I had it done, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, you know, carry my keys from the door to the car. I couldn't unscrew a water bottle lid, you know, that was sealed. I couldn't do anything. It was a tough time. You know, and it hurt to sleep. You know, you get woken up from the pain of it in the middle of the night. It was a bad time. It was a bad time. But things are way better now. You know, shout out to my surgeon. You're an artist. I'm not trying to talk down on your work. You gave me my life back. %, that's no good. You know, 81%, then we could have done an X4. 80% is useless. Should have died at 1. 14,160. What? I didn't even know I could miss that. Great. $14,163. Shouldn't I take a break? Oh, well, I mean, we're about to call the session pretty soon. What, did you hear my stomach rumbling? Does the microphone pick that up? Probably dinner time. And then snack after. Man, they got these little snack cakes, like the seasonal ones. They're like lemon blueberry coffee cakes. Man, when I tell you, they are delectable. I love sugar. It was the vice always permitted you as a child, right? Like, well, Mom's not watching. I'll just get like a whole bunch of white sugar, put it on this spoon, and then I'll eat it. Yum. Nope. Overcorrection. Too much of a hold. Didn't need the tap. Terrible. Terrible. Alright. Thank you, Zargi. It's nice of you to say that I got this, but I doubt it. 14,169. No, gee, that's very nice of you to say. I'll always push back whenever somebody says something nice about me. You know, the more you get to know me, you might find that I'm, like, just as vain and unpleasant as anyone you've ever met. But, hopefully, with, like, a more elegant turn of phrase and a more, like, withering diction, right? Like, you can always depend on me for, like, a fancy prolix style. But I believe it's nice to see people like me on the internet. It's in real life where we're annoying. Nah. There are no other people like me. And a good thing, too. This world is already stretched to its breaking point with one person like me. That's what everybody I've ever known has told me. And I don't think they're trying to be nice. They're like, no, one is good. I mean, like, have you ever wanted 2 ice cream sandwiches? One's good, you know. Yeah, the coin route always makes me feel weird. But people often observe that it's easier, but that is what happens. That right there, that is... I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at me for accidentally going on the coin route and then for dying where I always die when I go on it. But that's what happens when I go on the coin route. Because my muscle memory is to the other section where you have a double input. So in my head, it's like double input for the things. It's like I've already trained myself to not be able to do the coin. Nope. Terrible. Terrible. Sir Green Blockington, why can't you learn? Is it because I'm controlling you, Sir Green Blockington? Why would you let a guy like me be in control of your destiny? Sir Green Blockington, if you really think about it, these 14,173 deaths have all been your fault. What? Nah, come on. Dying at that section just feels outrageous. I'm good at that part. Am I gonna plan to get all 3 coins? I mean, I have raged pretty hard trying to get coins earlier than this in the game. But no, I don't think if I beat this level, I'll ever play it again. I can go back and play Death Moon. And in fairness, I don't know which I've played longer now. Death Moon was less overall attempts, but it might have been more like hours spent, because it was almost like a full day of my life on Death Moon. I think it was like 20 or 21 hours. And I have not added up the Clubstep time yet, because of course this is an ongoing waste of my life, not like one that's over like Death Moon. What? That's so annoying. That's so annoying. Die there all the time. All the time. We practiced that 500 times earlier. I think we got through like twice. Actually 500 times and actually twice. $14,187. Did I play with your mouse? I play with an Xbox controller. Due to nerve issues in my hands, I cannot play clicky games with a mouse. You know, if you gotta click as much as you gotta do in Geometry Dash, it's the thumb or nothing. Terrible. Yeah, I got an Xbox controller. 14,189. 14,191. What? Alright. 14,193. A little sketchy there, came in low. I think there my controller just didn't accept the input because the button's going and sticking. I know it's blaming the input. I feel like I input there and dropped like a rock anyway. That's not a mistake that I make. I mean, I might have done. I just feel like I pressed it and it didn't feel it. 14,196. Alright, last try. Alright, well. There you go. There's another 1,000 failures. Ish. And of course we got no better at it, learned nothing, and did nothing but fail at the same point a couple of times. But that'll let us change the title forever. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed watching me fail repeatedly. That's all you're ever going to get here, so if you don't want to see me play a game badly, watch me play something else. I'm kind of bad at everything, but this is the game I am worst at. I don't know, maybe I'm worse at Subnautica. I might be a more garbage Subnautica player than I am a garbage Geometry Dash player. It's hard to say. I am very bad at Subnautica when I tell you that I play that game wrong. But anyway, not important. See you guys later, hamburgers. Later, OG, AV, Neo, all of y'all. Nice to see everyone. And maybe I'll catch you at a later stream or video. 007. See all you guys. I'm going to go get some dinner, and then I'll be back around later on tonight playing something else, and maybe I'll see you guys there. Might be Tactics, might be Total War, might be Cuphead, not sure yet. Might be a third thing. That was already 3 things in the list. Might be a 4th one, and that would really mix it up. Anyway, I will see you guys later perhaps, and if not, I hope you have an excellent night, and maybe I'll catch you around the internet some other day. See you guys.